poke. Poke is actually the cut of fish. So it means like a chunk of fish. So its origins are in the old Hawaiian days where they would eat raw fish. So Hawaiians would never eat fish raw without salting it first. So for the larger fish, they would need to cut it into chunks prior to salting it. And the name itself, poke, was not given to this dish. I believe it was called, translated from Hawaiian, it was fish to bite into. Over time, the people kind of transferred from catching their own fish to going to the fish market, much like the wet market we have now here. And they would buy fish, much like you go to the wet market. They would say, I would like a fillet of this fish, I would like a steak of that fish, and then I would also like this fish poke, and they would take it home and make it for their family themselves. Some enterprising fishmongers decided, why not take the cuts that we don't necessarily are able to sell. We make our own poke and we sell it directly to the customers as a service to them as well. So that's kind of how poke in its current form took off in Hawaii, as more of a convenience to the people already visiting the fish shop. Hawaii is very similar to Singapore in there's a big mix of different cultures and cuisines. So a lot of the Japanese, Chinese, and even Korean ingredients that I would be able to find in Hawaii, I can find in Singapore, no problem. The issue is with the sourcing of the fish. Most of the time in Singapore, I realized the consumers really like salmon, and that's a fish that we would rarely ever use as poke in Hawaii. But we had to adapt to the Singapore market, so we sell a lot more salmon than we do of our yellowfin tuna that we get. The food experience is only part of the experience. Food in and of itself is just fuel. However, the company that you're eating it with, the memories that you have with food, these are the things that really create experience, the nostalgia, the sense of comfort, the sense of love, So I think food is something that brings people together to create an experience over. Oh yeah, for sure, food can definitely change culture. If you look at Singapore, for example, the different influences in food in Singapore, Singaporean Chinese food is not Chinese food. If you go to China with Singaporean Chinese food, they'll say, where is this? This is not Chinese food. Same thing with Singapore Indian food, Singapore Malaysian food, Eurasian food. It's not European, it's not Chinese, it's not Malaysian. What is it? So I think food is one of those things where it can change culture and it changes with culture at the same time. If food didn't change culture, people wouldn't be so up in arms about McDonald's in Italy, or people eating dogs in Korea or in China, stuff like that. I feel like food is very closely linked with cultural identity, so people are very protective of what they eat and what they feel like should be eaten. So I think that one way that we can all be more accepting of each other is just, eat each other's food.